This is the sound of hospice money.
Operation Skip Trace uncovered and ended a hospice fraud scheme that defrauded Medi-Cal of $267 million. We've been doing it successfully before certain people in this country decided to think about it for the first time.
In 2023, this place received $1.3 million.
Not a single piece of furniture.
Nothing.
California DOJ has been going after healthcare fraud since 1979. For decades. Trump is late to the party.
The fact that when the fraud is called out, instead of saying that, Gavin Newsom says Nick Shirley is the problem.
Not only are these shell companies, these are shell buildings.
In February, you said that claims of massive fraud in California were reckless and false.
So let me get this straight. Just a couple of weeks ago, Governor Gavin Newsom's press office posted an AI-generated meme calling Nick Shirley a for exposing hospice fraud. That was on March 17th. 3 weeks later, the governor's administration holds a press conference announcing a massive hospice fraud bust and says California has been leading the charge for years. Who believes that? I mean, at this point, Gavin Newsom, you mocked the messenger, then basically stole his homework. Let's get into it. So just a couple of days ago, California Attorney General held a press conference announcing Operation Skip Trace, $267 million hospice fraud bust. 21 suspects are charged, 5 were arrested. Identities were stolen from the dark web, enrolled into Medi-Cal, billed for hospice services that were never provided. Not a single patient was treated. The money was laundered through 130 shell companies and hidden in bank accounts and crypto. Now, that does sound like a win. Taking down a $267 million fraud ring is a good thing. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that it's not. But listen to how the Attorney General frames it.
While healthcare fraud might be President Trump's shiny new political talking point, California DOJ has been going after healthcare fraud since 1979. For decades. Trump is late to the party. Protecting taxpayer dollars and protecting programs sick and vulnerable Californians rely on have been our priority for nearly 5 decades.
Now, I'm sure you heard that. He said that Trump is late to the party. What does this have to do with Trump? I don't know. I mean, he said that they've been doing this since 1979, 47 years. But you still have 1,800 hospice providers in LA County. You still have 742 of them being flagged for fraud.
All these buildings are all hospice centers.
You still have 89 registered in one building. If you've been doing this for 47 years and this fraud is that bad, it's the kind of flex you're talking about. It feels like a confession. And then when a reporter pressed him on whether they're doing enough monitoring, listen to how he deflected.
Does that mean you're not doing enough monitoring? Are you guys not on the ball enough to prevent this kind of fraud? If there's so much of it.
Let me just be clear about who's committing the fraud. Criminals are committing the fraud. Bad actors are committing the fraud. People who are breaking the law are committing the fraud. They are responsible for their actions. They are responsible and should be held accountable for their fraud.
That's not an answer. Nobody asked you who was committing the fraud. They asked you why you haven't stopped it. You are the Attorney General. Your job is to catch the criminals before they steal the $267 million, not to hold a press conference after they do it. Now let's talk about the timeline because this is where it all falls apart. The California State Auditor flagged hospice fraud in March 2022. LA had a 1,500% increase in hospice companies since 2010, 6 times the national average per elderly person. That report went directly to Newsom and state legislators, and that was 4 years ago. Now, Newsom did sign a moratorium on new hospice licenses back in 2021, okay, but if your moratorium is working, then why does LA County have still the highest concentration of hospice providers in the country? Why are they 500 hospice providers within a 3-mile radius? Why is LA billing Medicare $29,000 per patient when the national average is $13,000? Some providers were billing $74,000 per patient. $74,000 per patient. And remember way back in the day, like February of 2026, this AG said that the claims of massive fraud in California were reckless and false. A reporter brought that back up at the press conference yesterday.
In February, you said that claims of massive fraud in California were reckless and false. Do you want to change those statements?
No, I want to reiterate those.
he's still standing by it while announcing a $267 million fraud bust. This is a definition of cognitive dissonance. I mean, it is totally unreal. But here's the real game. Gavin Newsom is going to probably run for president. Everybody knows it. He is likely going to be the Democrat nominee. I don't really know anyone else that's going to be able to do it. And California is supposed to be the proof of concept. This is what blue state governor is supposed to looks like. But right now, the state is $68 billion in debt, the highest poverty rate in the nation, the worst homelessness crisis in the country, and now billions of dollars in taxpayer-funded fraud that his own auditors flagged years ago. So what does he do? Attack the people exposing it and then schedule a press conference to take credit for stopping it.
It's the fact that when the fraud is called out, thank you, Nick Shirley, for coming to California, instead of saying that, Gavin Newsom says Nick Shirley is the problem. That, my friends, is when you know that they are in on it. Because only a governor who is useless, who does not want to do his job, instead of saying, thanks for finding fraud, anyone else who finds fraud, here's our fraud tip line.
Let's contrast all of that with what Nick Shirley has done. He's an independent journalist, he's a YouTuber, and he actually showed you what's going on with his camera. There's no press conference, no teleprompter, just boots on the ground.
Not only are these shell companies, these are shell buildings. It's like somebody took a motel building and turned it into 100 fraudulent organizations.
We got a nice Mercedes down there, three nice Mercedes down there, three Teslas.
Might even double as like a illegitimate car.
He walked into buildings registered as hospice providers. They're empty, doors are locked, blinds are down, no patients, no medical equipment. One company, Miracle Healing Hospice, billed $1.3 million in 2023. Nick looked through the window, not a single piece of furniture inside. $1.3 million for an empty room.
In 2023, this place received $1.3 million.
Not a single piece of furniture.
Nothing.
Insane. This is insane.
And when he's confronting people at these locations, you see what's going on. Watch what happens.
There is a lot of fraud going on, but it's not me. I don't give a who does what.
Yeah, we never said you were committing the fraud,
Well,
sir. That's what we're looking for, sir.
There's like 100 doors. This is just one door.
Okay, get out of here then.
What's your problem with us? Why are you raising your voice if you have nothing to hide?
You think I'm hiding?
What are you so scared
You're
about me
accusing
coming
me?
around here for?
I'm not scared. I'm telling you, don't rush.
You're
the
shaking.
people.
Why are you shaking?
Because I have a diabetes.
These operators panicked. They fled the building. They hopped into their nice new cars, Cybertrucks, BMWs, cars worth more than some people's houses.
Soaked to the bone right now.
We were denied service by the potential fraudsters, and as we were leaving, one of the fraudsters started to leave from the back in a $200,000 Maybach.
And peel out of the parking lot. This is the footage that gone viral. This is what forced the conversation. And what is Newsom's response to this? Not a, hey, thank you for helping us find a fraud. He posted a meme depicting Nick Shirley as some kind of predator lurking at a daycare with a bunch of cameras all over him. Even Democratic Senator John Fetterman called it disgusting and said that fraud is fraud regardless of what state you're in. In Nick's response, he offered to work with the governor's office. They refused. Here's a question nobody at that press conference asked. If California has been fighting hospice fraud since 1979, if the AG's office has conducted 300 investigations and secured 51 convictions, why did it take a 23-year-old YouTuber and a CBS News investigation to make this a national story? The AG said it at the press conference.
How are you going to respond to the criticism that is coming from the White House?
Let me answer the last question first. We're not too interested in the grading systems of the White House on this issue.
But that's not true. The person thinking about this for the first time was the American public because independent creators put it in front of them. Not the AG, not the governor, not the California DOJ. It was Nick Shirley. It was CBS News. It was people on the ground checking out this stuff in real time and realizing this is a massive fraud. People are taking millions and billions of taxpayer dollars. What is Newsom talking about? And notice what AG said about Dr. Oz.
I'm not particularly interested in responding to Dr. Oz's points. He's clearly been more interested in politicization and partisanship than in providing real data-based pathways for progress and solutions. He's done drive-bys in California where he sticks the camera in his face and posts a video and then leaves. We're here doing the work before he came, while he was here, and after he's gone. That's what we're focused on.
Well, you can kind of say that's what Nick Shirley did because it works. It did work. It created more accountability in 48 hours than the California's 47-year fraud fighting operation. Assemblywoman Alexandria Macedo says that one crackdown is not enough. The governor is playing whack-a-mole with criminals when we should be locking the front door. So look, I'm glad the arrests are happening. I'm glad that the attention is on this issue. I hope it's a nationwide attention where multiple states kind of figure out what's going on in their systems. Is it a lot of fraud going on? Because with 21 people charged, $267 million in fraud exposed, that is a win for taxpayers like me and you. But don't let that press conference fool you. This was not proactive. This was completely reactive. This was Gavin Newsom seeing the walls close in, a House Oversight investigation, a CBS expose, a viral video with millions of views, and scrambling to get in front of the story before it buries his presidential ambitions. So we all know what's going on here. So we're all seeing the receipts. And the receipts say that Gavin Newsom knew about this for years, and your first move was to attack the journalists, not the scammers. Real smart. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. And if you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, like, share, hype, all those good things. Appreciate all of your support. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.